hoping it's going to be a good drive this morning. Back in final control is Craig, so if you would like to send through any questions, then please do send them through to questions@wildersafari.tv. I don't know if anyone saw anything around the dam last night. Mark just said that he can smell leopard urine outside my room. I can't smell anything this morning. So maybe Karula and the cubs might still be around, or maybe it was somebody else, who knows. But I'm going to have a look around the dam, but if anybody did see anything last night, please let us know. Or if you even heard anything, then please let us know. It's quite warm this morning. There's a lot of cloud cover, so I'm hoping we're going to see plenty this morning. Keep your fingers crossed. But let's climb aboard, see what we can go and find.
Hello everybody.
There's been a lot of movement by the hyenas. Garrigang came in from the south last night. Just want to have a quick look around the dam and we'll head back up towards where the Garrigang are, maybe catch up with them for a little bit. Otherwise, I didn't hear anything last night. Did you hear anything? No, nothing. It's funny, before I became a guide, I would actually be a very light sleeper, and I would hear anything moving around, anything calling, I would wake up. But since being a guide, I've learned how to sleep heavily. Sleep through a thunderstorm right overhead. Good morning, all stations. Is there any updates this morning? Good morning, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Whereabouts are you checking this morning?
I was just past Kari Dam and Central to the east.
Oh look, buffalo. There's one in Yari at Gary Dam. African Jacana just next to him as well. And looks like a blacksmith lapwing just behind him. How you guys doing this morning? Okay, good. No worries. Yeah, no worries.
How you think? Good thing.
Off into the drainage line. I think there's a couple, and I think that might be one of them. Spends a lot of time in that drainage line around the back of camp. Heard them the other night. Where did the heron go? I just saw a heron fly in. Did you see where he flew into? Yeah, I thought so. I don't see where he landed now. Oh, there he is. Good morning, Dawn. Hope you're well this morning. A little bit further on, we'll go a little bit further on too. But buffalo normally solitary, because you usually see them in a herd, and it does depend a lot on the age and a lot on which sex they are. This single buffalo we saw was a male, Old male. This little heron's a little bit skittish. Playing cat and mouse this morning, eh? And he's gonna land just behind the tree, so we can't see it. Yep. Juvenile grey heron.
Oops, wrong button. Okay.
Alrighty.
I'm a bit rusty on camera.
Yeah, I think it's been taking me a couple of drives to get into it as well, though. Okay. There he is. You're gonna be on camera, little one.
Where is he?
Just right on that little
Oh, on the
peninsula.
peninsula.
Oh, a bit of an awkward angle.
Oh, a little bit.
There.
Club heading northwest to Chitcap. Yeah, money then is a money in contact. That's part of four when we got back last night. We're buying the 5. That's the 4 females and a male we're buying next to the river buffalo which is our captain. Okay, Captain Steady, I want to get out there. I'm coming to give you a hand to that side.
Sounds like they're talking about some lions up in Buffalo's Hook.
Simon Yari appeared to have moved off northwest. Okay, so thank you.
Just north of Sydney's Dam, which is just over our boundary. Who was that? Timothy. Timothy's saying he found your wheel nut. He got sent to California by the squirrel.
Oh, okay.
But we want picture proof. You can't just say that.
Must have been a wormhole that got it from here today. The fracture in the time-space continuum.
Hi Shireen, I'll get back to you in just a moment. I think I'm going to just start making my way up towards where the Gary gang are snoozing. The guinea fowl are looking quite relaxed this morning. Texan, come in. Texan, come in. Texan, just wanted to find out where that Nkonzo was and which direction it was heading in.
Sarah, can you come back with your message?
I just wanted to find out where that Nkonzo was and which direction it was heading in.
Yeah, I just got one call from Madurangala coming towards Gary Dam area. But just that Sheriff Kipaya was coming to the west.
Copy that, thank you. Okay, apparently there's a track of one lion heading this way. So once we've had a look at the Gary gang, maybe we should head round onto Vubu Road. Have a look around there. Tech's gonna check Gary cut line. Maybe even Twin Dams, we'll see. But these guys aren't too bothered. I thought I heard the guinea fowl calling this morning, but I might have been mistaken. Ooh! Virtual starling, look, checking out a hole. Oh.
But that's the kingfisher's hole in summer.
Is it the kingfisher's hole? I did wonder.
We've had a woodland kingfisher there before.
Ah. Yeah, because these little guys take over holes or abandoned holes. Wonder if he'll come back. Maybe it's because I pointed him out. So Dawn, sorry to get back to you. But yeah, so if it's a single old bull, he'll be on his own usually, or in a small bachelor group. Because as they get older, they can't keep up with the herd, and they tend to like softer vegetation to go and chew. So combined with those couple of aspects, because their teeth wear down as they get older, so that's why they tend to like the softer vegetation. Here it comes, coming back again. So that's why you may see some. He's playing games with us as well this morning. Oh, go and check out your hole. People want to see you. Whereas the younger males will tend to be with the breeding herds, and the females will tend to stick together throughout their life in a small family unit, and they'll join together to form larger herds in the hundreds. And then you get the prime bulls keeping up with the herds and fighting for the rights to mate with the females. And in some areas those males might break away outside of the breeding season. Some areas they may stay with those females. Hopefully that answers your question there, Dawn. And Cherie's wanting to know what my favourite animal is. I've got many, but I'm in the wrong continent for the ultimate, which is the tigers. I've got a very big passion for tigers, but also rhinos. I love the rhinos and the leopards here. The leopards, I think, are my substitute for the tigers over here in Africa. Cool, let's see if we can go and catch up with the Gowrie gang then. So the virtual starling, single bird on the left of your screen, and the guinea fowl up at the top of the screen. The sad thing is tigers are becoming extremely endangered, or they are endangered. I think there's left on the planet about 4,000 wild tigers left. I think half of that is the Indian or Bengal tiger. I think that last time I heard the Amur tiger population was stable, but I think that was only around, I think it was around the 300-400 mark. So not a big number at all. And the Amur is also known as Siberian, but now it's only really found in the Amur Valley. Maybe one day I'll get out to see the tigers. I did go to Sumatra once to try and see Sumatran tigers. I went to go and see what the project was all about, because we used to send money out there. We raised about £350,000 over about 3 years for tiger conservation from the wildlife park I used to work for. But I never saw a tiger. I saw plenty of tracks and scratch marks on the trees, and to be honest that was enough for me, because I actually thought if I can see tigers easily, then the poachers are going to see them easily. And actually by the end of the 3 years, from going from one game reserve and protecting the tigers, I remember them pulling out 100 snares one day, and this is like one of the snares that Mark found. A very, very simple piece of wire. It gets nailed to a tree, or tied around a tree, or nailed into the ground, and then it's just a loop and the animal walks into it. Nasty device. Very, very slow death from it as well. Going from actually trying to clear out the snares and protecting the tigers in that area, we actually had people infiltrating into 7 reserves, protecting those reserves, and they actually caught, I think there was a huge capture of, I think it was about 11 people, all down the line, from people actually setting snares to people actually organising and selling the tiger products. It was quite a big thing. The Gary Gang are on the move. I thought they were going to be moving this way.
They can see me with the hat. They're not going to
Ngala for Lukonzo from Ngala. Ifamba Mono and taxi one Konzo Madonna Ngala Central heading west. And Ebo is Pamba Juma Dam to the east.
There's little Genesis. Shirley and Genesis, and then there's Mrs. Psycho with little Evelyn.
Have you seen Huey?
Still not seen Huey. I think Huey's gone. I think Huey has long gone now. Oh, and up in the tree there there's Tankman and Elby behind. Guinea
Yes,
fowl are
thank you,
chattering.
Guinea fowl shouting.
Yeah, guinea fowl are chattering, but the guinea fowl just next to us, not
But
calling.
there's some that are calling further.
Yeah,
Yeah.
much further. Wow, look at those canines. Actually, is it Elby or is it Gordy? Could be Gordy actually. I think Elby's was the one walking away actually. It's funny, she's the lowest ranking and yet she sets the pace in the morning. You see everyone clearly not taking any of her hints. But actually, Elby's taking a chance. She's quite far from the troop at the moment, far from safety. I suppose she could jump over the fence at that stage. But still, I think she's taking a big risk. For anybody wanting to know, that white thing in the picture now is actually our broadcasting mast. So that's where the signal gets sent to from the Gunda. Gets converted in FC and then gets sent out via that mast to Marieskop, bounced onto Hoedspruit, and that's where it gets sent out towards under the sea or the ocean on a fibre optic cable and then sent through to Ireland. So it's got quite a long process to go through. And that's what makes it even more remarkable, in the fact that there's maybe half a second delay, if that. And it really is, it blows my mind. It's got all that way to travel and yet it's still live. I mean, some days it's not even half a second. And that fence that you're seeing is actually the owner's garden. And when the Gara Gang are up here, they go and sleep in there because it's a little bit safer, I think. Here comes Tankman. Charge. Keep up. There he is. I'm actually interested to see what's going on with these guinea fowl. But I wonder if it is an eagle or something flying
they're
over.
not really too,
Yeah, they're not.
and they're not even getting these ones interested.
No. I think maybe it is something local, like an eagle or something. Because that Marshall eagle's been around.
Yeah.
I do wonder if it's that. Oh, they have gone quiet now. Let's see if we can. I'll keep checking the skies though, or maybe even a snake. Maybe we found a snake. So the Gowrie gang, down to 5 adults and 2 babies. Actually, I was watching some of the earlier diaries where we had 12, 13 members of the gang. We're not too sure what happened to the rest of them. We already know that the latest member to disappear is Huey. Yeah, I'm going to try and give them a wide berth again. See if we can head them off at the top again. But I think they're on the way to Inga's house. As long as they're heading in that direction and not towards camp again. Woodpecker. That's interesting. Still being mated. Although her rump doesn't look as swollen as what it has been doing. He's definitely got a lot of character, that little one. He's about two months old now. No? What are we in? Mid-July. Yeah, about 2 months old. And Gordy's just at the back. Here's the other big male. And you kind of forget how big baboons are, and they came to camp yesterday. And I was looking at Gordy sitting on the fence, and he was looking at me, and he was obviously above me. I kind of had the sudden realisation how big he actually was. Because in the vehicle, sometimes you lose perspective. There they go. Okay. Inga, baboons are coming. Let's just take a drive up here. I think we'll take the Lego shortcut, maybe come down on Ruby Road, and then head down Kinglands. Just do a bit of a lap. So I've also heard some Franklins calling over here. Okay, I'm going to throw this one open. ID the antelope. Questions at wildosafari.tv in the subject line. What antelope it is. And if it's female or male. You might be able to see how those white stripes helped camouflage them. Especially when they stood out in the open like they were. It can be quite difficult to see how they're going to help, but standing behind vegetation.
Okay, copy. This is coming out of the mobile storage to the west.
Those markings are known as disruptive markings. You will find them on plenty of animals. This is antelope number 2. Dan, well done Dan, getting the first antelope right. And Binky, well done. Shimona, also well done. Oh, I spy a giraffe in the background. But this is antelope number 2, if you want to play along. Amber, coming back with kudu. Not quite amber. Not quite. They tend to be more grey in colour and a tan neck, usually. Linda, Deborah, also coming back with the right answer. Okay, the giraffe is heading off, so let's go. We haven't seen giraffe for a long time, not properly. Who was that? Sorry, Joanne. Yvonne. Yvonne also saying kudu. Mona saying bushbuck. Close. Sorry about that, folks. But bushbuck close. I can see where you're coming from.
Tell him it was my thumb, not my elbow.
Mark's saying it was his thumb, not his elbow. Switch the camera off. So if you want to ID the second antelope, the first antelope was a Nyala female. Stripes and spots. Kudu usually only have stripes. Bushbuck usually only have spots, although there may be the odd 1 or 2 individuals that may have a stripe here and there, but nothing as much as the Nyala. So the second antelope, if you want to send answers through, and we'll give the name of the antelope once we leave the giraffe. Youngster, probably about a year, 2 years old, something like that. I was going to say a year and a half, but I think he's more around 2 years old. And I did see I saw an adult moving into the bush here. They're around the outside, I might be able to catch up with them there. The giraffes have been hiding a lot. And you would have thought you'd be able to see them there. Okay. There she is. She's probably going to carry on walking that way as well. But let's see if we can catch up with her. But again, just like the patterns on the Nyala, those white bars, the zebras of a stripe, the spots of a leopard, the blotches on a giraffe, all help to conceal these animals. And if you look, it's very difficult to see a giraffe in a thick bush. She's going to move that way. Maybe if we can get to that open spot. Hello, lady. That's it. Prefer you to carry on feeding. There you go, you can hardly see the body there. Amazing, the tallest land mammal is able to hide in just a few meters of trees. Especially if they're feeding on some of the lower branches and they've got their head fairly low. They can hide behind the smallest of tree. Now if you look at the white ears, and again, white is generally used in communication.
Look at that mist building here.
Oh wow, yeah. It's quite pretty. Got some mist coming in. Excuse me. But if you notice the large eyes, we're just going to have a quick look at the mist coming in. If you notice the large eyes on the giraffe, just shows that they do have excellent eyesight. It's generally, if the eyes are quite small compared to the size of the head, it means that the animals don't really have that good long distance eyesight. It's usually close vision that they have. You think about the size of the elephant eye compared to its head, or the rhino eye compared to its head, whereas the giraffe's eye, okay, she's not helping now. That's not the side I want to see, lady. Let's see if we can just move forward just a little bit more. There's another slightly open gap there. But if you see the size of the eye compared to the size of the giraffe's head, it's quite large, and they do have exceptional eyesight. So those white ears stick out, especially when they're feeding in the bush, and that's possibly a way that they kind of keep a check on where each other is by those white ears. And also look at the size of those eyelashes. They're going to need some protection from the sun, because they will be out during the day feeding, and they are able to go out in some of the hotter temperatures that maybe some of the animals have to go and find shelter and go and find shade during the day. The giraffe can keep going, keep looking for food. But also when they put their heads into the trees, they're going to be able to protect their eyes, and they'll be able to feel those thorns and things like that. And the red-billed oxpeckers there, ever present. Stations Tootlemiti on quarantine. That's a negative. Whereabouts are they? Texan, come in. Whereabouts is that Schlambia Vignari?
Central junction with Johannesburg Drive. They're heading slowly to the west.
Copy that, thank you. Hi Yvonne, good morning to you. And saying you've seen giraffes nibbling on bones. What's that all about? The secret carnivores. No, they're not really. It's to supplement their diet, especially during the winter time. We're going to be seeing that more and more. We may even be lucky to see that in the next couple of weeks. but they will supplement the diet with the calcium and the phosphorus that's found in bones. And you'll often find them, they won't generally go for the large pieces. You'll often find them just picking up a small piece, small bones from old lion kills or leopard kills, and they'll pick them up and actually walk with them, and they'll maybe walk a kilometre or so sometimes and just chew on this bone. And if you do see a giraffe eating bone, they pull the most funniest faces. It's very, very comical, because they're actually using the grinding teeth at the back, and they'll sometimes look like they're struggling. And I've seen one giraffe really struggle, and it almost spat it out, and then it was, no, I'm not going to let this piece of bone go. So it worked it to the front of its mouth, repositioned it, and then started chewing it again. And she has the perfect ossicones or horns of a female. Look at that. Thin, long, sloping back slightly, and not much fur on top of her horns. She's a very good example of how a female usually looks, although they are only general rules. I have seen females with very short ossicones. I have seen females with fairly thick ossicones, and some females who are completely bald. But she does have some fur on top of her horns there, which is what she should have. But as they get older, it does wear off. But I have seen completely bald females on top, like a male. Because maybe they've been rubbing the horns on trees or something like that. Hi, Alex. Good morning to you. Wanting to know what the horns are made from? Oh, you can just about still see the horns there. And that's why we keep sort of flitting between the horns and ossicones. That's the technical name for them, is ossicones. And it is part of the skull. It's actually not layered in keratin, or doesn't have a layer of keratin over the top like the antelope do. It has the skin with the fur on top. It is still bone, and then you do get calcified lumps forming, extra lumps forming on males as they start to fight, and it forms like a crash helmet. Extra protection for the brain when they do fight. Oh, hello. There you go, there's another bird to ID. So I think while we're not seeing a view of the giraffe who sent through the answer, I think Linda got it right for the second antelope. There's a few other people, I think. I'll try and reposition the vehicle. And I hope Barbara's on board. Barbara's been asking to see giraffe, so I hope Barbara is on board. So the third thing to ID this morning is a bird, for any birders out there. Now, unfortunately, we're a little bit far away, but if you ever see or look at some of the giraffe pictures where we've had some very close-up shots of the giraffe, have a look under the chin. They've got the hairs underneath the chin, and that will also help to guide them when they do put the heads right into the trees. And they'll be able to feel where the thorns are. Because remember, the hairs, short hairs, are also able to be used, just like our fingertips have got feeling. If those hairs move, it will also trigger a response. There'll be also feeling where those thorns are in the branches and the leaves just by the movement of the hair on the chin. Used to detect them. There she goes. Come back this way. Just wondering, it might be a little bit open on the other side again. And if you notice as well, the head is perfectly shaped to try and get into the thinner or the centre part of thick trees. So if you look at a grazer, for example, they've got quite a wide, blunt muzzle, whereas the browsers, like the giraffe and the kudu, they have these quite wedge-shaped heads. So they can poke their nose quite far into the tree, especially if there's branches close together, and they can get their nose in there, and then their tongue, which is about 40-50 centimetres long, can then just give them that extra reach that they might need. So they can either pick off individual leaves, or they can wrap the tongue around the branch, pull it into the mouth, and then clamp the teeth together and strip the leaves off the branch. So that's what you're actually seeing her doing sometimes. It's when she's pulling her head back, she's clamped her teeth around the branch and just stripping it. Yeah. She's just going back to the horns. One of the few animals that are born with the horns. Deer and antelope will develop them with age. But the giraffe are actually born with them. They're flat when they are born, and after a couple of days they start to stand up and they'll get fused to the skull. There she goes. Oh, sorry. Zoomed out. She's going into the thicker bush, so let's leave her. Continue on. Keep going up. With that mist, that coolness is coming in now. Hello, antelope number 2. Actually, it's probably the same herd that we just saw. Just made the way over this side. Actually, I just pulled a blonde moment, didn't I? I came into the mist. I should have gone the other way, away from the mist. Oh well. Hi, Amber. You're from Utah. Good morning to you. Wanting to know about how giraffes sleep. Is it true that they sleep in 5-minute intervals? In a way, yes. And again, it will depend on individual circumstances. They can sleep for 5 minutes. And it's thought that they sleep maybe between 5 and 12 minutes at a time, very deep sleep. And they might do that 5 or 6 times. And that's what the researchers say. But they'll often rest and chew the cud. And if the giraffe goes into a very deep sleep, they quite often rest the head on the back, but they can't actually rest the head on the ground. So their blood pressure is just too high. And I must admit, I've worked with giraffe, and I never once saw them sleep. And I'd go in at unusual times, obviously not in the dead of night, but I would go in at unusual times, sometimes late at night or very early morning, and I never saw the giraffe sleep. I think that's the average, 5 to 12 minutes. They might take longer naps, they might take slightly shorter naps, depends if you get interrupted. Have we got anyone else coming back with the Impala? You got the Impala right. Linda got it right. That was antelope number 2. Shimona and Binky and Linda, well done, getting Impala right. And Jilly saying Steenbok. Yvonne, is that Yvonne? Yvonne got it right. So Jilly, look, with the Steenbok you need to look for just a red colour with the white belly. Whereas Impala have the 3 tones, the dark, the light, and then the cream under the belly. And Jilly, wanting to know how long do giraffes live for? Good to hear from you, Jilly. How long do giraffes live for in the wild? Apparently the oldest on record's 28. Record, but I reckon probably more on average 20-25 years. wanting to know the average lifespan of cats in the reserve. Lions apparently are not meant to live as long as the leopards. Although, how old did they say the lions were the other day? There's some lions, I think it was BB. Oh, nice.
BB.
Yeah, I think it was BB. Is that? Do I need to go back a bit more? Please don't run. Stay when? There. Thank you. So, for those of you thinking that the Nyala was kudu, and I can see where you're coming from with that young male, he did look a little bit like a young kudu. This is the kudu bull. You see that grey colour. And females do have a tan neck. I'm going to move forward because I think he's actually just coming out the other side. Very impressive. Stunning bull. I wonder we might see him better just a little bit further on. See him there? Kind of. And look at those huge ears. That's very characteristic of the kudu. The males have these beautiful spiral horns. Whereas the Nyalas, they are also spiral horned, but they're not as corkscrew as the kudu. And you won't normally find spots on the kudu. Whereas on the Nyala you do tend to find quite a mixture of spots and stripes on the body. And that deep chestnut colour of the female. Not too sure what to make of this. You'll foottail drongo following him. Oh, there's another one on our left. He is not alone. Don't know if we're going to be able to see him now. Pull forward a little bit. He is magnificent.
Have it back a bit.
be a little bit too awkward to see. I'm wondering, I think he might actually come across the road. Okay. He might just come over and join the other one. Or he might not.
He's the older bull, the younger one's gonna follow him.
No, he had it. He just looked. He was looking over here. Maybe he was just seeing where he was. Yeah, there he goes. The bull isn't following at the moment. So he might just curl. There he is. Sounds like everybody's on Buffelshoek again. Buffelshoek or Torchwood. One of the two. Hi Elizabeth! What are you listening to, cutie? Cutie was looking in there. Wondering if kudu live in other parts of the world, and they do. They do also live up in other parts of Africa, but not else on other continents, just Africa. And there's the lesser kudu. This is actually the greater kudu. They're quite lax when it comes to their proper name. There's a little fork-tailed drongo, you can see it quite nicely now. And again, look at that wedge-shaped head, just like the giraffe. Unfortunately, not as long a tongue as a giraffe. Dan, good morning to you, Dan. Dan's saying little bee eater for the little bird that we saw earlier. Not quite, Dan. Little bee eater, you're looking for a green and yellow little bird. Rita, coming back with lilac-breasted roller. Could have been. It could have been. The lilac-breasted roller doesn't look as spectacular when it's overcast like this. Nice try, Rita, but not quite. Sorry. Julie saying chagra. We're getting closer to the bird size. Not quite. Bobby saying dusky flycatcher. We're getting closer. There was a few of them around. That might help. Hi Cindy, good morning to you. Wanting to know, do the giraffe's horns serve a purpose? I actually don't know if they do, to be honest. Especially with both males and females having them. It's not as if they're there for protection, because they use the legs usually to kick out. They don't want to be getting the head anywhere near the predator, although maybe they might just swing the head at the predator. I haven't seen that. It's usually the legs they protect themselves with. Maybe there's some form of temperature regulation through them or something like that. So males, the horns or ossicones tends to be fairly short and fairly fat, wide, so they're a lot more robust when they're fighting, and that's the general rule with if both male and female species have horns. Generally the males are thicker, maybe shorter compared to those of a female because they fight with them. They use them for fighting. So they need to be more robust. So if they were long and thin, they would break very easily. As far as serving a purpose, I don't know. I've not been able to find that one out. So if anyone has heard anything, do you know, Mark? Why giraffe have the ossicones? Is there actually a purpose to the ossicones? Yeah, but there's why is the females got them? That's the only thing I've to say. The males. Yeah. See, I'm not convinced with giraffe with it being defence, but yeah. Maybe it's yet to be discovered, or maybe it's left over from the ancestors. Although they were supposed to have been from the chevrottine, which is a tiny little animal. I don't remember seeing any horns on them. The okapi also has them. That's the closest living relative to the giraffe, found up in the forests of Africa, in the Congo. Beautiful looking animal, big ears like the kudu, very dark, this beautiful deep chocolate brown colour with the stripes on the legs. It's a very strange looking animal. But they've got fairly long legs, just like the, what's that? It's very bizarre looking. The Bucky Sucky. This little thing here, Bucky Sucky. I think it is a Bucky Sucky, hey? Yeah. Ah, that's why. I think they were possibly putting out that flame that we saw the other day, yesterday. Yeah. Got a flat tyre.
What do you call it?
A Bucky Sucky. I think it must be,
You made it up.
no, we used it up in the Waterberg, that's what it
Ah, well, that explains it.
that does explain it. What do you call it, a Bowser?
It's actually, yeah.
It's used for putting out the fire, basically. It's a little, it actually works on for Pompeii, you just spray the water everywhere. Oh, okay, it's only a Bucky Sucky if it's on a Bucky. Is it what? Oh, sickle-winged chat. I think we would have been jumping up and down. No, unfortunately it wasn't a sickle-winged chat. Bobby, nice try though. I actually don't know. That's why I think we would have been jumping up and down. And somebody was asking about trees. Trees, do all the trees keep their leaves? Davina, sorry Davina. Got sidetracked by the Bucky Sucky. I can smell burning. Do all the trees keep the leaves? Or do some of them lose them in the winter time? You can see we're in the winter, we're in the middle of winter, and we do have some trees keeping the leaves and some trees have shed the leaves. Ruler trees are one of them that sheds the leaves. The acacias tend to keep the leaves. Silver cluster leaves also, these are the leaves here. That's the leaf I was showing everybody yesterday, I forgot to say. No. Mark's hanging with his head over the side there, checking the wheel. If we're having a flat tyre, we can have one of the other tyres flat, not that one. And Ryan, good morning to you, Ryan. Ryan wanting to know. Oh, the guari. Guari's also got the leaves. Keep the leaves. Ryan wanting to know, do giraffes smell? And apparently they do. And I say apparently because I've never been able to smell them. But they have, I think it's 12 chemicals on their fur or something. And one of them is what makes feces smell. I forget what it's called now. Got a wonderful long name. And the bulls are supposed to smell more than the females, and that apparently should show how fit they are, because if they have this strong smelling odour, the chemicals also are antibacterial. I think there's a bit of antifungal in there as well, so their coat is in good condition, so it should show how fit they are to the females. Well, that's the theory behind it. So I've worked with giraffe. I do remember them smelling, but I don't remember them smelling that bad. They're all young males, and I couldn't honestly remember their unique smell. And even the wild giraffes out here, I've not smelled them before. Have you ever smelled the wild giraffe? No. So maybe you need a giraffe nose to smell it. Or at least not a nose that doesn't work, like my nose. My nose just, for some reason, I couldn't smell the leopard urine outside my room this morning. Gives you an idea how bad my sense of smell is. And yet sometimes I can key into elephant, sometimes I can smell rhino, sometimes buffalo. I could smell the sweet grass. It was a hay smell the other day, and the smell of rain, I could smell that. But flowers, don't ever send me flowers. Flowers actually smell like dog dirt to me, I don't know why. Even the sweetest smelling rose, my mum will say, smell this is beautiful. Smell it, it smells like dog dirt. Ooh. These those processionary worms, I can't get there. That's the first time I've ever seen them. Actually, in a tree. Caterpillar from a moth, processionary. The first time I've actually seen them, but I actually have seen the track of these guys, and they walk one behind the other, and they'll lay down silk for the rest to follow. And if you find the trail, it's literally just strands and strands and strands all on top of each other of silk. So I actually met the track before these guys, the caterpillars themselves. I think you were on drive probably about a week and a half ago when you showed these guys.
Yeah.
And that's the first time I've actually seen them.
Really?
Mm.
I saw some on the road the other day after drive, but they were just in a ball. They weren't marching.
Mm. Yeah, I think I saw the track about 2 years ago now. The first time I ever heard of them. They're called worms, but they are actually moth larvae, the caterpillars. And all those hairs there, you won't want to go and grab them. That would be extremely irritating. Kind of goes for any caterpillar that's hairy. You don't want to go touching it, because those fine hairs will just cause severe irritation.
There's only a little tuft of hair at the back that are the irritating hairs.
Oh, is it only the tuft on them?
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Tiny tuft at the back of hairy caterpillars there.
I've always known it just to be all of the hairs.
No, those long hairs won't do anything.
Oh, okay. Well, I've just learnt something then. So it's just a tuft at the back, not all over the caterpillar.
But when a bird eats these, they'll wipe all the hairs off anyway.
I did see a hornbill the other day catching a hairy caterpillar, and they were wiping it on the branch and trying to get all the hairs off. Awesome.
Dawn's asking, do any birds eat the caterpillars?
Dawn, just answered your question. Do birds eat any of the caterpillars? And they do. Just saying, I saw a hornbill the other day eating. I'm not too sure which caterpillar it was. Oops. I don't think. Is there actually anything out there that has pictures of caterpillars and what they actually turn into? There's butterfly books, there's moth books, but
Some of the insect books, like the big snake book. Eric Holmes insect Bible.
Eric Holmes Insect Bible. Oh, some of them are just drawings.
Some of them have got photographs in the insect book. Some of them have got the butterfly book. You've got a few rather. But nothing that's got everything you want in butterfly book.
Yeah. So nothing with every. Because there was a very nice website the other day, and you can type in what the caterpillar looks like, whether it's got hair, whether it's got this, whether it's got that, and I was getting very excited. And then I found out it was just for the US. So it didn't help me out too much. So maybe there's somebody out there that could actually do one for South Africa. Cheryl, morning to you, Cheryl. Wanting to know why they're in a cluster. Why are they in a cluster, Mark?
They all hatch out of, for protection.
For protection.
They hatch out of the egg and they stay together until they become adults. They pupate.
So they stay together for protection. They all hatch out together. They stay like that until they pupate and become adults.
Why?
I actually wonder if they move around. You know, like penguins do. Penguins, when the big winter hits, the emperor penguins have this continual rotation. So they'll stand on the outside for a little while, and then they rotate, and then they'll go and stand on the inside. And every penguin will have the brunt of the winds and the cold, and then they'll have the warmth of the flock on the inside. And I wonder if they do the same thing. They move around so that some are on the outside, which are more liable to be attacked by predators, and then they move to the middle. I wonder. Mister's well and truly set in. That's why we're looking down on Bubu Road. Seeing if there's any sign down there. The lion track was found just on Central, heading west. So I want to actually try Twin Downs Road. I just wanted to check here. Just in case. Oops. So you make your way down towards. Apparently there's some buffalo, big buffalo herds. So maybe that line went that way. You see some there? I'll try going that way. Yeah, could have done. They didn't say how fresh the other one looked. So what's been going on down here? hippo one here. Hi, Diane. Hmm? Yeah. He's going down this way. That's hippo there. Good morning to you, Diane. I'm wanting to know if I ever tasted Mapani worms and what do they taste like if I have. I have tasted Mapani worms. I tasted dry Mapani worms though. And they taste and feel. I mean, the guts had already been taken out, so it literally was just the body of the Mapani worm. And it's quite rubbery and quite salty, almost like an anchovy. So a cross between calamari and an anchovy with a few short hairs mixed in for good measure. Spines. I can't remember what they were actually, but it was just it wasn't completely smooth. But I didn't find them that bad, to be honest. Let's just see what's on the other side, 'cause sometimes they do cut through here. Hi, Terry. Good morning to you. Are there any milkweed plants in Africa? Yes, there are. Oh, milkweed. Sorry, April. Vivian. Trying to have a guess on the little bird that we saw a bit earlier. Guessing mouse birds. Ooh, hello, Dakers. Too quick. Dwarf antelope. They definitely live up to their name. They dive through the bush. Although there's one or two that become a bit more relaxed. Sorry, Vivian, wasn't a mouse bird. Mouse birds have beautiful long tails. Maybe I was seeing something different, because I don't think anyone's got what I've got yet. Because I was seeing a sparrow. There was a couple of them around. What's that on there? On that side. Hyena. We'll try in Vulture's Road. Vulture's Nest. Trouble is, I didn't see any tracks which way they went. I thought they may have come down towards Cheltenham, but there's been no more tracks. They could have gone into the drainage line or gone west. Maybe we should try Philemon's Cook line first. Oh well, we're here now. Let's go and have a look. Hyenas. Yeah. Hyenas walking over us. Maybe the hyenas took it.
Maybe we'll find it in the dead one.
Yeah.
Teething toy.
Yeah. I would not like to meet that hyena that had a teething toy of a nut. Sorry, I missed. What have I tried? Milkweed flower bud. Terry or April? Yes. Terry. Have I tried a milkweed flower bud? No, I haven't. Didn't even know you could eat them. Because milkweeds are quite toxic. It's one of the reasons why the monarchs feed on them and become toxic. Some butterflies, the acrias, can produce their own toxins, and then there's some, like the monarchs, that will actually eat plants to gain the toxins from that plant. But considering the amount of monarchs that we have here, I've not seen actually any of the milkweed plants here. I'm sure we must have. haven't seen them.
What? Oh, Barbara.
The barbet on the dung. Which Ngara have you got there? Copy that, thank you.
Actually raising its crest.
I always think these guys have been attacked by a paintbrush. Possibly looking through the dung for termites. There, I just saw there was a woodpecker here as well. It was just
Yes.
over.
You see it now? I saw it fly off to the left.
I saw one in here. I think that I saw one just back there, so there could
I'm
be
just
two.
thinking these.
We
might
saw
have been
some.
with Salala. So they were just here. I mean,
That's also true.
I didn't check how fresh that was. I just saw a track now.
Okay, I just want to show you. Because I thought our little bird this morning was a grey-headed sparrow.
It was.
But no one seemed to have got there. This one here. No, this one here, sorry.
No. On the right. Grey sparrow's got a brown black beak.
I don't know why that's, but it's saying this is number 5.
That's not a grey-headed sparrow.
No. I'll say, because
Southern and northern.
the northern isn't supposed to occur here.
But that's definitely. I mean, we grew up with grey-headed sparrows.
Mm.
Never seen a grey-headed sparrow with an orange beak.
Unless that's maybe just the way the light's catching it on there. But that's what I thought was the grey-headed sparrow, and that's also what Mark was
Book's
thinking.
wrong.
It could be. It could just be the way that this one's been picture's been taken. That's also supposed to be the grey-headed sparrow. So there was a few of them. I still go with the grey-headed sparrow. Ah, Rita! Rita came back with the southern grey-headed sparrow. So we're not on our own. Ah, really? I didn't know that. Thanks, Terry. Saying that the flower buds aren't toxic. They're very tasty. Yeah, I think that's older. Apparently you can eat them, and they apparently taste like asparagus. Well, interesting.
Not chicken.
Not chicken, yeah. At least it's not chicken. Actually, I should have said the Mapani worm tastes like chicken. No, it doesn't. It'd be very weird if chicken tastes like Mapani worms. Or maybe that's actually Mapani worms before they've been gutted and dried out, because I tried dried out ones. Sorry. Hang on. Oh, brilliant. Beans and Bob over in Canada. Hi, Beans. Hi, Bob. Apparently, Beans is my #1 fan. Beans is the cat. It makes me chuckle every time I hear it. Bob actually sent a picture of Beans sitting in front of the computer watching. Apparently, wherever it is in the house, as soon as it starts hearing me talk, it comes up and starts watching. Maybe it's the hair. But good morning to you both. And wondering how far hippos go in search of food before returning to water during the day. And it will depend on the season and how much vegetation is available. So if there's a lot of vegetation available even in the winter time, then the hippos are not going to have to wander as far as maybe other areas. Because I think we've got a relatively large amount of vegetation still around even in the winter time compared to other areas further north in Africa, where it really does just get decimated. But sometimes they have been known to wander as far as 12, 14 k's in search of food before having to return. And that's usually in the winter time. Summer, there's usually plenty of grazing around, so they don't have to wander too far. They may still swap dams as they're foraging, maybe overnight somewhere. And that tends to be more the case in winter as well. They'll overnight in dams, maybe where they're closer to new grazing areas. So trying to return back to the dam that they came from. Hence why we're seeing a lot of movement. We're not seeing any hippos in Gary Dam at the moment. And yet the other day we had 10 or 13 of them. But obviously during the winter time they don't have to fret as much to get back to the water. And especially on an overcast day like this, you're probably going to find hippos out and about even now. Making use of grazing time. Because the reason why they do have to return to water is to protect their skin. And they dehydrate very quickly out in the summer sun. Marucci with a couple of leaves on still. Okay. Oh, thanks, Vivian. Vivian giving a tip on how to cook the buds of the milkweed plant. So you bring them to the boil, and then bring them to a boil a second time. And apparently... Oh, hello. He's sleeping back there.
I want to know what species it is of milkweed that they talk about.
That's also true. What species of milkweed?
You take another species.
Yeah. I would have thought all the species of milkweed, because obviously the latex inside the milkweed is the most toxic. It's this milky latex. And if you get it on your skin, it's going to burn as well. Apparently, Vivian's saying it tastes like broccoli. Oh, some more crested barbets. Oh, bye. We're actually getting crested barbet's quite friendly. He keeps coming to the kitchen at the moment. Sitting outside the kitchen. Oh, hello, buffalo. Ah. I wonder if this is the back end of the herd. Literally, the back end of the herd. Hi, Denise. Wanting to know how long giraffes carry their calves before they're born. The gestation period for a giraffe is roughly around 15 months. 14, 15 months. And they give birth standing up. They don't lie down. So that baby giraffe has 2 meters to drop when it's born. Quite a wake-up call, hey? They thought that helps to kickstart the lungs, get the fluid out. It's still quite a way to fall on top of your head. Hi Ed, good morning to you. Wonder if you can cure a headache by breathing in the smoke from elephant dung. A lot of my colleagues used to do it. They would swear by it. And they were mostly Sepedi people. But yeah, especially there was 1 or 2 of them who really would, if he was feeling under the weather, if he had a headache, he would go and inhale the smoke from elephant dung. I've never tried it myself though. Oops. I'm just going to try and move forward. I'm going to see if the rest of the herd are further up the way. See if we can go and find ourselves a few calves to go and play with. Some of the old bulls. It sounded like the herd was coming this way. West, they're heading east. So maybe they just happen to be in the same place. They look like a couple of old boys that probably wouldn't be with the herd. Terry. Thanks, Terry. And I have heard that actually. It's latex from milkweed plants have been used in the past, or maybe used to remove warts. And Lynn wanting to know what the bird was on the dung. And that was a crested barbet searching through elephant dung for any insects. The lion track's going that way. Actually, they're probably. Yeah, it is a big male. I think it's possibly the same tracks as what we saw, or what has been seen. I think this is the same male as what was seen further down central, heading west. We should do Vulture's Nest. Maybe he's in that drainage line or Philemon's Cut line. Hello, Impala. I've seen buffalo around here. This is where they were, apparently. No tracks of them. Apparently the cotton from the plants as well used to be used for gun cotton. It's highly flammable. Especially during the Anglo-Boer War. And sometimes, on occasion, stuffing mattresses apparently.
Squirrel shining on that side.
Here's a squirrel over there.
That one's making.
There he
that one
is.
in
He's
that tree
sitting.
there is making
Yeah.
a lot of.
Oh, there's
three of
three
them.
of them. Yeah.
See if I can get them through these trees. So maybe go back a bit. Oh, hey, there's definitely something here.
Yeah. Poking those in here. It's a quick. No, I'm hearing another one starting over here now. What you seeing, squirrels? I'm seeing an impala right over there.
Yeah.
And the impala aren't
Oh, yeah.
too bothered. One's sitting eating something. The one behind is shouting. See, it's actually wrapped its tail around the branch. So I'm hearing another one. think it's further that way. I think we need to keep going that way. Because one's got relaxed now, one couldn't care less. He's found a nut and he's eating it. That one's still facing there. I'm hearing something. Are you hearing the one down that side? Just go back to that part of the road. I might be able to see something coming out.
By the time I get food coming,
Someone's sitting in that tree. It's a tree branch. Tree branch sitting in the tree. To drive that way in, because I thought the other squirrel was shouting over here. And that third squirrel was looking in that direction. Oh, yeah, I think there is one sitting in a tree. Or is that another tree branch? I can still hear them. I can still hear them calling. I'll just go a little bit further in. I've seen Yambini here a couple of times. I think he uses this pathway. starting to feel that warmth. Whereabouts was that, my daughter? After that, thank you. And Kahuma males are in Buffelshoek. Apparently there's 3 males from Kruger over in the east. That's what we were talking about earlier. Just see if we can catch up with them maybe on Mamba Road. Maybe we did cross the drainage line, came out the other side, so maybe Fiddleman's Cut line is our best bet. Because that track that we saw looked like a male. Didn't see it too well. There it is. Right on top. Another one for you to ID. Nope. So too long. What bird was that? What bird was that? Questions at wildersafari.tv. The last one was grey-headed sparrow. Okay. Squirrel. What's going on now, squirrel? Yeah, he just started calling when he saw us, I think. Impala plane. This might be a good bet.
Yeah, then Mama Dota, the one was on top of the mobile along the power line.
Binky! Binky! Close. Got the parrot right and got headed right. Carol coming back with brown-headed parrot. Well done. Oh, sorry, Cheryl. Green-headed gun-ho bird. Oh, dunno bird, I was going to say. African green parrot from Raisa. Oh, at least you got to see the parrot outline, the parrot shape. Elizabeth. Oh, is that a yellow-bellied sapsucker? Is there such a thing? Diane, brown-headed parrot. And Jilly saying Jardine's parrot. Oh, another giraffe. Looking for the buffalo. I think the buffalo herd's just moved into too thick a bush. There. Seems through there.
Was on top of the shore. That is
Quite a youngster there. Quite furry on top of the horns. Davina wanting to know if we're part of Kruger, why do we have boundaries? We're part of the Kruger, the Greater Kruger National Park. So the Kruger itself is government owned, and a lot of other properties border onto the Kruger. And instead of having each property separate and having fences around it, it was decided to bring down the fences between the properties so the animals had a greater area to move around in, and a larger area will help to balance out what's going on in it more naturally than if you have smaller areas that you will have to manage quite a lot. And even now it still has to be managed because obviously there's humans involved and there's fences around the area. But it becomes a lot more balanced than what it would be being a small property. The animals can organise themselves as they want, territories as they want, and even though the animals can move freely, we as people cannot. We still have to respect the fact that the property is owned by different people. So that's why we can't just go on to Kruger. You have to pay to go into Kruger, and that pays for the upkeep of the fences and the ground patrol, which would be the anti-poaching and that sort of thing. Sabi Sands also, you usually have to pay to come into the Sabi Sands for the same reason. So it'll be a separate entity to the Kruger. And the Sabi Sands is made up of different landowners. So depending on the agreements between the landowners, you have different traversing areas. I'm not hearing any movement from the buffalo. I think they're riding that block now. So it was a little while ago they saw the buffalo there. Look at that tongue, you can just about see how long it is there. And it's this blue-black colour because it contains melanin. And I thought it stops the giraffe getting sunburn on the tongue. I suppose it could do in a way. I think it also helps to strengthen the tongue against the thorns and things like that. And if you actually look right at the back of a giraffe's tongue, it is pink in colour. So it is that section that you see come out of the mouth. So maybe there is something to that. Okay, Philemon's cut line. Let's give that a go. A brown-headed parrot, the parrot that we saw earlier. At least we found some giraffes. We've been lacking giraffes. I heard something. That's not good. I'm hearing squirrels in this ear and I'm hearing guinea fowl in this ear. And there's nothing there. That's not good. Hi Brenda, saying when we backed out where the squirrels were, something ran across the road, like quite low to the ground. The only thing I remember running across the road was the Impala. I don't know if that was maybe what you saw. But the Impala that were there were very relaxed, so I think if there was something that ran across the road, they would have said. I don't know, do you remember it seeing anything?
That was the Impala.
Was, yeah, Mark also just saw the Impala.
It was mine, Impala would have said.
I missed the last part. Jojo wanting to know if I've seen giraffes using something for defense. Hooves, sorry. Oh. Someone was asking about said bushbuck. Can you see the little bushbuck through there? Oh, missed it. Left. There we go. So there we go. We've seen all antelope. This is the bushbuck. You see a few spots on her body. Oh, she's actually got one stripe. Very faint. But not really the stripes like the Nyala have. Pretty much one colour overall on her body. That is the bushbuck, female bushbuck. So the only thing we actually haven't seen is a female kudu. We saw a male earlier on. Male kudu are the tallest antelope that we have here. And probably back-wise, I'm not talking about the head. Oh, I thought that was antelope looking back at us. Just sort of back-wise. Kudu's back probably reaches about there. Something like that. Whereas the Nyala, and I'm doing just females as well, female Nyala is probably about there. Something like that. Bushbuck, probably about the same size, maybe slightly smaller. The female bushbuck. Impala, female Impala. So maybe just slightly smaller than the bushbuck. Maybe about the same size actually. It's difficult to tell when it's on the screen, you can't really see too well. Oh, hyena tracks again. I got caught by them again. It's just that one, that track that we saw walking down this way has thrown me. Ooh. Oh, nice. And there's the flycatcher. Don't know, can you see it?
Here it is. Well, it's about. It's
Oh, there. Yeah. Bar-throated apellis. I call it an apellis. How do you say it? Apalis. The flycatcher was further around, but that's nice.
As soon as I want to zoom, it moves. But where's that
He's right at
orange
the.
breasted?
Yeah, I didn't see who it was properly.
There's an orange
Woodpecker. There's somebody else further on. I'm just looking.
breasted. Hang on.
Go further on because there's. I think I'm seeing the southern bobo, which we haven't seen before. I see there's someone bobbing around that looks about the same size. It's right in the back there. Who's that?
Blocked with tit there.
No, it was bigger. Where is he? No. I think he must have flown off. There was a southern black tit there, but there was a bird that looked like the bobo. We heard it calling the other day.
Yeah, he's not there. Can't see it with the camera yet.
Oh yeah, I think he dropped down. Oh, there's a woodpecker there as well. He's actually coming forward.
There's the woodpecker.
Yeah, somewhere around there. There he is. Yeah, just at the bottom of the screen. No, down a bit. There. Yeah, you can just about see the southern black tit at the back and the woodpecker in the front. Come out. We would like to see you. Just saw the red cap. You can see the streaks on his body. Oh, there we go.
And then you've got the stripes on the back.
Yeah, the stripes on the back.
A very pale beige eye stripe. And beige forehead.
Yeah.
Almost flew straight towards us.
Yeah, I thought he was going to, eh?
How do you change the decibel on this thing?
On the side.
Which one?
Which one are you wanting to change?
Decibel, that's on 6, should be on 12.
Oh, there's a little switch just next to the shutter speed. Is that far down? It should be on 0.
No. No, that's only, no, I can get it up to 9. Oh, just go forward a bit.
There you go.
There's two there. Stop.
Is it a bird or a plane?
Bird.
Ah, there. Oh,
I can
nice.
Just get. I've lost it now.
Yeah,
there,
there's
jumped down, that's an
stingrads.
oriole.
Oh, there it goes.
Ah,
There was the black-headed oriole. You say beige, the front beige, but
Yeah.
that's confusing me now.
Well, let me see a bird.
'Cause I thought it would be the Bennett's woodpecker, with the streaking on the back.
No, it was definitely beige forehead.
Definitely beige
It was more
forehead.
stripy than streaky on the back. Golden tailed.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but it doesn't have beige at the front.
It does.
Okay, the book's wrong again. Because that was what my first thought was until you said the beige.
Brown. Beige. Brown.
But I thought the golden-tailed. But he didn't have as... The golden-tailed doesn't have as heavy streaking on the back. That red cap was...
Get on to the book.
Yeah, let's have a look. Because my first thought was this little guy, with all this heavy streaking down the front. But it's more speckled on the back rather than the barring. But certainly that...
Strong barring.
Hmm?
I saw very strong barring.
I saw very strong barring at the back, and this one's very speckled. It could be just the way that he's sitting. There's certainly very heavy streaking on the breast. Don't think it was the bearded.
No, it was definitely not a bearded.
Sorry?
Definitely wasn't a bearded.
No, definitely. Because the bearded's got the barring on the front, not the streaks. Let's see. Oh, it could have been the cardinal actually. When you said the beige on the front, yeah, I think it was the female cardinal. Streaked breast, quite heavy barring on the back, bright red cap and the beige at the front. I think that was the cardinal. Male cardinal. The female's got the black cap. There you go, that's who it was. It's always good to have a couple of eyes. You can have a look for, especially with the woodpeckers, that's what you look for. You heard we were shouting out the different things, so eye stripes, what's on the breast, what's on the back, what's on the head. And actually just the process that we were going through, that's how you can start to identify the birds. You look at those particular areas, depending on the species, and if you can get to a particular species, then there's the leg colour, the eye colour, what's on the front, what's on the back, is there anything noticeable on the beak colour, the different stripes, eye stripe, moustachial stripe, the malar stripe. Especially birds that you don't always get a chance to see. There's birds that you see on a regular basis and you can easily say, oh, it's that. But sometimes you can be wrong. Sometimes you need to just take care and actually have a closer look. I'm going to try Philemon's cut line and see if this lion cuts through, because the tracks were found on Central. We found some of the lion tracks heading from Central in a westerly direction. Someone also radioed in saying they also had tracks heading west on Central towards Gowrie Dam. We then found a couple of tracks. Huh? Where are you seeing elephants? I'm looking at the
The
road.
one behind you was the first one to flower.
Oh, was it?
Judith was flowering.
Already? Oh yeah, I see the elephant now. I'm too busy looking at the tracks. Hello, elephant. Hmm?
We're heading off to Rhino.
We were heading off to Philemon's cut line to see if there was any line tracks, but it seems we have the elephants here. there's some elephants. No, it's just going a little bit further. Let's see who's digging, and then we can see the big eddy pool in the background as well. Trees in the way. Hi, lady. Just wanted to come and see what you were doing. If you could just about see the top of that Ellie bull who just walked right behind the females here. He is huge. Yeah. I think I've been forgiven. I think the Eddie Ball just carried on. I don't see him anymore. No, it's fine. I was just trying to see.
He's gone down to
Yeah, I think he has gone.
the elephant's gone.
I wonder how big this herd is. I can hear some more elephants off in the distance. Everyone's all spread out. Just got the individual families by the looks of it. Actually, if I roll back a little bit, we might be able to see this little one again. Might be able to see this little one again if I roll back a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some more of the family. Might just try and roll back rather than drive back. Oh well. It is. I can see a few of them. Stop here for now. Let me see if we can go around the other side there.
Yeah, that's the road now.
Yeah, it looks like it, eh? Let's see if we can move again before we get to that open spot. Be able to see them nicely. Alright, lady. Alright. Squeaky brake. Hello, lady. She's just deciding what to do.
I don't know visual of any. But that one, but
Yeah, she's coming. Yeah, she's starting to feed now, so I'm just going to move again. See, you're smelling us with a trunk. Hi, Cheryl-Ann. Saying that you've never seen a baby elephant with a temporal gland weeping. What does that mean? Well, even in adult elephants, it can mean that they are distressed. It can weep when they are stressed, as well as it meaning that they are cycling. So that's why we always say, especially with the females, when it's not always obvious if it's being an estrus or whether they are distressed. And quite often, if there's been a predator around or whatever, then you can see that those temporal glands do weep in a number of the adults and the youngsters. At least when the males are in must, then they dribble the urine, and you can smell that particular must smell. She's back there. And here comes the little ones. Hi Ed, I don't know, maybe you missed me replying to you a bit earlier, but some of my colleagues have used and used to use the elephant dung to cure a headache. They used to set a light to it and inhale the smoke. I've never tried it myself. Hello little one, what are you doing? Hi, Lindsay. Good morning to you. Wondering if youngsters start to eat plants pretty much straight away. And I think they do nurse for a few months. They will probably start to try a few things. What's wrong, lady? I don't think she liked the aeroplane flying over. Oh, is there a helicopter coming as well?
Or is it a helicopter?
Huh?
Is it a
No,
helicopter?
no, it was a caravan. I saw the aeroplane flying over. She doesn't like it.
Can't fix the goal, it's too far.
And hi, Sarah. Wondering what is the big five?
Sarah, you're ready now to do the angle.
I know. I don't want to move because she's not too happy. Especially with that plane flying over. I might have been able to get away with it earlier. But the big five are lion, leopard, buffalo, elephant, and rhino. That is the big five. Let me just see if I can pull back. A little bit late this morning. So just going back to the nursing question. I'm not too sure exactly when they start testing. Sorry, she wasn't too impressed with me moving.
All of a sudden, in like 5 minutes, that cloud's gone.
Yeah, it's nice and warm now, hey? But I would say within a few months they'd start at least tasting what mum's eating. But it's quite a lengthy process. And they may nurse right up until 5, maybe 7 years sometimes, supplementing the diet. Oh, what do you know what age they start testing plant material?
Probably
like-
a couple of months.
Yeah, about a couple of months. Yeah, I'd say a couple of months.
Probably even from the first couple of days, they're putting things in their mouth. You know, whether they're chewing on it and eating it, who knows?
Mm. Yeah, just going off of the herbivores as well. I'd say probably about a month or so. A couple of months maybe. But she's slowly making her way out. I wonder if we can just stay a couple more minutes just to see her. She'll come out. The rest of the herd are actually heading off in the other direction. Oh, he's trying to scratch himself on the tree over there. There's one of the other family units. Scratching his butt.
No, I'm just waiting for her to come through this gap.
Oh, you're gonna.
This
Okay.
bit, there, scratching on the tree.
Yeah. A station, Slambivenlav, Weaver's Nest, heading east. Bless you. Yeah, I think she might take her time. She obviously doesn't like sounds of engines and things, because she got very upset with the plane flying over, and she didn't like the sound of our engine too much. But as soon as we switched off, she was fine. And even now, you know, she's feeding and she's quite possibly might come out into the open.
Now I'm not even getting a trunk. So we're just looking at a bush.
Oh well. I think she's going to take her time. But thank you very much for joining us here this morning on Wild Earth. And now the sun's coming out, I'm hoping you're going to see some animals coming down to the dam to drink during the day. If you want to watch that, then there's a Juma waterhole camera. And this afternoon we do have our next live safari, so if you would like to try and see if we can catch up with that lion later on, maybe see if there's any of the leopards around as well, then do try and join us for our next live safari at 3:30 Central Africa time. But for myself, Mark, and back in Final Control Craig, take care, and we'll see you again soon on Wild Earth. Bye everybody.